Dan Evans.
Oh, God.
Just in case we do a video, I'm not sure yet.
But what, if it's not good enough?
No, you are.
Well, no, I don't care.
That's heavy. Why don't you leave it in the courtyard?
Somebody would nick it.
They would, actually.
They would. Is this the new Steve filming everything, is it?
That's the problem. Dan Evans in the house.
Yeah.
And see that thing behind you? That thing. Do you like that?
Oh, do you mean the masks?
No, because I might get told off for those now.
Why?
Well,
it's got the tail's unexpected one.
But what do you think of that the scaly blue thing? Do you like that colour? Do you like what it is? Do you like it? Because my wife doesn't, and I put it up when she was away.
I don't know whether I like it or not really.
I think it goes with the room. Maybe I should.
It's in the I don't mind being seen as vain. It shows I've not given up.
But
doesn't it?
What are you doing? He's in on the hallway now.
Somebody told me to get this. My eyes are so bad I can't see what it is.
But what is that?
It takes away redness.
But do you know why you get redness?
If you list all the things that make you red, I do them all. So there's drinking too much, exercising quite vigorously at times.
Do you?
Yeah.
So you swim?
You make that sound like... I know that steam rooms and saunas, I do that after a swim, shouldn't do that. Chili, hot food, I love that.
In a sauna?
Everything you should... Like 4 or 5 things you shouldn't do, and I do them all.
It's a good shot though, so you've got a double mirror shot.
Is it? Is that good or not?
Yeah, well I might have to take a photograph like that as well.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah. I don't know. I've been looking at footage of myself and being very sort of...
But the redness is not... How does that look? That's good,
actually. It doesn't look red, does it?
No.
But then the flip side of that is if it looks like I put on makeup or anti-reddening cream, that's more tragic, isn't it?
Well, I did a pantomime where I had to...
that's expected.
Yeah, I had to put on I had to do that because from a stage you don't want to be too pale.
No, I don't. Yeah. I'm not going to judge you for that's not number 3 of the showbiz gossip things that we've had. No coaster.
Yeah, he says there's no coaster on my table, but
and taps around the wrong way in the kitchen.
Taps around the wrong,
which I wasn't aware of.
And you're not sure about the fish scales.
I don't know. I think it's not you or your fish scale thing. It's just I feel very. I'm struggling to really be enthusiastic about anything, so it might be in a different time of my life.
I'm going to get told off for the background as well because it's a rug on there. It's very messy.
You want a crisp background, do you?
What, crisps?
Crisps.
Salt and vinegar
everywhere.
Oh no, I'm going to do a little fart now. Hang on, let's get this. What I'm trying to do is get people to.
Is it looking at you now?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
It's getting more people to. It's not as good picture because of the backlight is But I can't get that person in the background. She's still there. There's someone behind me.
Gone, but they're spending
shaving her legs.
Oh my crikey! Just wearing like underpants all pulled up between their bum and everything.
What were we talking about? I was saying that I want to keep it. It's honestly.
Yeah. No, look there. You see, it's just in underpants, a friend. Can you see? They're the sort that go right up between bum cheeks as well. There. You see? No.
This is bizarre. I had a photo shoot, I think, a long time ago, where I was in the house rather than my little studio.
Yeah.
And I had Tom Mayhew. Do you know Tom Mayhew?
The name rings a bell.
A very good comedian, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of working class kind of comedian. And someone was a different person a few years ago and literally just took a top off and he just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, well, it's quite something. Unless it's... Maybe we're being naive, and maybe what they work in the
lingerie business
or the sex industry. I was going to say.
Well, no, because that is a university block of students.
It's a front, though, isn't it? Probably.
Definitely a front.
Yeah, quite a front.
So Dan Evans, this is not where I'd normally start.
No, I assume
being voyeuristic.
Interviewed Kevin Day looking at women undressing in their windows and whoever else.
No, that is in the Patreon extras that I tend to offer. but I used to be a voyeur. I look back on those days with rose-tinted binoculars.
That's great. Is that one of your new ones?
Well, when you say new, yeah, I kind of write jokes every so often.
Well, that's a pretty good rate, you know.
What, every so often,
yeah.
Dan Evans, I've known you a long time.
I know.
You
had a shaven head when I first met you?
No. I shaved my head because I was at the Ban and Banana, and it's got a balcony.
Okay, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, and I got heckled as I walked on the stage. No, wasn't that? It literally said, "Shave it off!"
Oh, so it was helpful heckle, really?
It was kind of a helpful heckle, and it was kind of at that time I was going to a hairdresser who was charging me 15, 20 quid
Do ornate sort
to
of.
say, oh, you don't need to shave it off. Just and eventually I might cut that out.
Oh, was that before or after
Vietnam.
9/11 or Diana or whatever? I think one of your neighbours is shaving possibly her upper thighs now, or the back of her calves. It's hard to say.
Can I swing this? No, that would be
I think
inappropriate.
that probably you'd have to pixelate it, wouldn't you?
Oh, what was when did you start? Why did you start?
Oh, a long time. I almost have to qualify it by saying when I started.
Yeah, I do that.
But we're talking mid-90s. What's the point of me trying to lie?
Oh, my stomach rumbled then. I think my
Yeah,
microphone's right near my...
You're producing a lot of noise from down there, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, I'm a quite windy person.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Oh, yeah. I used to do a fart routine. Did you ever see that?
Well, the Elvis one.
No. I did it as well. No, it was like I timed farts in between saying this is a proud manly fart, and it was on the CD.
Yeah, but I know that. Yeah, this is the chicken tikka or whatever.
No, that's Otis Cannelloni.
Otis, yeah.
No.
But yes, it was...
Something like that.
Yeah, but you didn't do those farts and record them, did you? You got them.
No, yeah.
It used to be sort of mail ordered in the back of the
Yeah,
magazine.
but there was Mr. Methane who could fart at will.
Yeah, I think we're talking about not wanting to ick the audience out as an older man talking about sex. Well, I think it's almost the same level.
I think I'm one of those people. I do think farting is very funny.
But it was it?
So this feels like being in Edinburgh, where when you meet someone, they're always looking over their shoulder. But you're
I'm looking over for very good reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Possibly very noble reasons.
This is extraordinary. What's your best gig, Dan Evans?
I suppose the early ones where you think it's going much better than it is, and that's why you're still doing it now, isn't it? Because you didn't have the right calibration, so you thought you'd done well enough to carry on doing it. Whereas if you knew the reality of it, you would have just stopped.
But do you think encores are? I mean, I remember. I don't think I was better in the early days, but I remember getting quite a lot of encores. That might sound quite a bit big-headed, but I think the audience were more generous.
Possibly, and I think there was also, and this sounds like an old man talking, but I think people would have thought, oh great, I can get an extra few minutes because I want to stay and I'm enjoying it, because there's a slight vibe now of that we've had a long enough evening. And
what do you think?
Yeah, well, there is when I do gigs. I don't know. I don't like. You see, the problem with the encores, not that the problem with encores, is I always try and do my best stuff, and so the idea that I would go on there thinking I'm going to save a real cracker and not do it in order that.
But I think the idea of an encore is they like you so much you can go on and more or less say,
oh, free overtime kind of jokes.
Yeah, kind of, and muck around. But I know what you mean. You want to save the best to last, encore last as well.
Yeah, I'm also worried that it's the shine will come off and they'll go the scales will fall from their eyes and they'll just go. Oh, he's all right, but now we've seen a minute longer than we want to see a minute less of you than so we see a minute longer. It's like,
can you de-encore?
Yeah. Can we just? Though I do remember when I started it, and before I started, when I used to just go and watch comedy, it was kind of accepted that everyone had a couple of minutes that didn't really work, and nobody was bothered by it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
but you haven't got a best gig you can say that was.
Nothing, not beyond. And there's a lovely little Victorian theatre in Northampton that we've done a bit, probably within the last couple of years, and a couple of the nights on a Saturday, and you're in this thing you just think it doesn't get better than this.
The Derngate.
It's called the Royal, the little Victorian.
Oh yeah,
thing, like a little Hackney Empire. The problem with those gigs is, and generally, there's always a slight tinge of sadness where you're kind of going, I'm comparing these acts. If I just tried harder over the years, I'd be in this room now, and I'd be the whole show.
Yeah.
So much as you kind of go, wow, that's amazing, you also go,
still.
But it's just,
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm introducing someone else. And
are you fame oriented? Is that what you wanted?
I'm so driven by it. No, I'm not.
Were you ever driven?
I think only in the sort of vaguest. The vaguest, yes, it's all right.
So now Dan is going to be looking straight into my eyes now.
Let's do this properly. Yeah. Right, best gig ever. Right. No, only in the vaguest way. Actually, I don't really like public attention, certainly off stage. Obviously, it's nice to do a gig and do well.
Yeah. What about the other trappings of money?
I like the idea of it, but I suppose. No, I don't. I think the motivation is making people, entertaining people, but I don't necessarily want that pressure of being the person they're there to see. You know, I've done a couple of solo shows at the Brighton Fringe, but relatively late in my career because I could never get my head around the idea of anybody just coming to see me and no one else. It seemed almost, however small the room, it seemed wrong somehow.
So you never went up to Edinburgh to do your own?
No, I've only done composite shows up there.
Really? So Dan Evans.
Yeah.
Oh look, I've got different glasses on today. These are, I've got a black pair and a see-through pair, Cubits glasses. Why don't you sponsor me?
Are they fancy?
Not really, no. No, very, very affordable. 3,000? Is that a lot? No, it's not really.
It's all about statement glasses. These like newsreaders, everyone's got them.
Well, I just wanted a big, thick pair of glasses.
Okay.
What's your worst gig, Dan Evans?
Easily, I can easily tell you that. Very easily. Ages ago, so we're probably talking 20 years ago or so. Somehow or other, some weird gig in a park in Oxford came through, something to do with the council.
Yeah.
And somebody who didn't want it passed on to someone else who realistically went, I'm not doing that. And it ended up being passed on to me. And so I found myself in this kind of fate kind of situation on the steps of like one of those old water fountains, trying just to do a gig.
Just you, or was it?
Just me on my own. Nobody introducing anything like that. Just went up and stood by this water fountain in a park in the middle of the day with people. And it was so awful. And I was supposed to do it twice. And I did it once and there was a little pause. And then the woman who was organising it came up to me a few minutes later and said, "Oh, we don't need to worry about this. It's fine." And I remember going straight to a pub and downing 2 pints like that. Just because I almost, the awfulness of it was so colossal, you know.
But that stuck in your mind. That's interesting, actually.
Oh, totally. I mean,
but did people just ignore you, or did they boo you?
No, there wasn't. It was just like, why is this guy in a park just talking?
Yeah.
It was just, there's no microphone on it. It was just nuts.
But you didn't feel actually I can do this like a street performance because you weren't from that.
I wasn't from that thing. I didn't have the experience to do that or to think this is awful, but there is a way to play it. I can't believe what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, neither can you, kind of thing. Do
you think you could play it now if you're put in that situation?
I could play it now, but I wouldn't touch you with a bat.
No, but you might find yourself in a situation.
Yeah, I suppose that's the other thing is another very bad gig I can think of, the Hyena in Newcastle, which was few people's favourite, you know, because people would be dancing on the tables before the gig started. It was awful. Yeah. But I remember going on there and just thinking, well, it doesn't matter. I'll go up there. It may not go very well, but who cares? And about 5 minutes before going on, somebody I hadn't seen from sixth form at school, a friend from there, came up and he was like, "How are you doing?" And we chatted. I went on. 10 minutes later, I was booed off. And even if I saw him now, I know that he could never get that first impression. And the thing that makes me sad about that and why it's a real failing is that at no point did I go, "This isn't working. How do I go down in flames?" Or how do I just stuck to this lame-o script and just thought that'll do. Whereas a proper act, what I do now, I'd like to think, is I would just go, "What do you people want?" And just completely throw away the jokes and, you know, just be something different.
Yes.
Whereas I just chose to just crawl into my shell and then go away as quickly as possible.
I've had some. I think I've had a death at the Hyena. I think everybody has a Hyena. It's not still going now, is it? It's gone. Is it?
Nothing will grow on the site where it was, apparently.
It's a
Stephen King novel is sort of set there.
So this watch I'm wearing today with Dan Evans is I love it. It's Mr. Jones watch, and this is actually one of the most normal ones they do because they have some amazing watch faces and the complications on them are very interesting. But this one on the hands, if you can come close up, if I put it here, it says, "Remember, you will die." That kind of made me laugh. I do like the way they've done the second hand as well in red, and it's a great design.
Make sure you get all your books in, Steve.
All the books in, because I've actually
sorted the subtext of what you're doing.
I've actually got Dan Evans' book here somewhere. But you got two.
Yes, I rewrote the first. Yes.
So it's not. But you've bought a second.
I've got two out now. But having said that, the second one was out 2 years ago. So
what was that? That was quite.
That's sort of showbiz. It's to make you realise I've expanded my chest a little bit since we last met. What with gym visits and cycling. So I tell you what it is. I've got two, and there is a third one that isn't a million miles from being done. But I have a block on it because I sell them after gigs. That's pretty much all the sales. And if you say to somebody, I've got 2, they go, I'll have 2. But if you go, I've got 3, not only will they not go, oh, I'll take the lot, it'll also confuse them. A bit like if you try to sell too many flavours of jam, people just go, ugh, and just leave it in the end. So if I offer 3, I think I'd actually sell less just because of the options paralysis of giving people choice.
But if you forget about the financial implications, why don't you, but the fact that you just want to write more.
Yeah. I mean, but if I can get 2 out there,
Yeah.
I've got a third one, I don't quite know.
The detective stuff.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
And that's
Snaith.
yeah.
Snaith. It's very good.
Well, I mean, it's just difficult to. It feels very labour. I tell you what it is. I haven't cracked the online thing, and I know that is what I always wanted to do, was that momentum of its own. So I go, we sold 3 books today, and I have nothing to do with it.
Well, I want to do that with my merch and also this as well.
But I don't know what it is. The current approach I'm going to do, I'm making up 10 stupid adverts for it. I'm about 5 in.
Yeah.
Basically, when I've got 10, I think I might get someone, and I've got all my social media all glued together and all the tags and the links and the titles, which I've never really done, and all my live stuff and everything. Once that's all in operation, I'll put these ads up, and maybe, you see, I won't even say I'll spend money on it, because I don't know what button to press. Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody that, you spend £100 on a Facebook ad, and then somebody else goes, oh, it's a waste of money, doesn't do anything. It's like, I just want somebody, and the problem is when you're doing it, you will have found this with your book. Once I started
books,
researching things, I started getting messages from this sort of parasitical organisations that basically hover around self-publishing, and they go, oh, we can edit your book, we can do this, we can do that, we'll do your social media, and if that just means them sending out a load of lacklustre tweets, I'm more than capable of doing that myself. But so you kind of go, it's a bit like in a gold rush though, isn't it? It's like the people who make the money selling the shovels and the beams and all that, the actual gold diggers are idiots.
Yeah. If you're liking this episode with my glasses, then like and subscribe. And
I don't know, loads of fingers.
So you were quite actory before, you were quite animated with the other bit. So like and subscribe, comment, that stuff.
Yeah. Nice comments.
Well,
I know my face is red, by the way, before that becomes a comment.
But that it's not that red.
I know it's not that red.
Put the cream on.
Cream.
Who would we could advertise a cream.
Yeah, but the after picture would have to be quite stunning, wouldn't it? It's like kind of, that guy's face is amazing.
It's going slightly, it's pinking up. How often do you have to put it on?
Every 20 to 22 minutes. My head's only about that big, but I'm just built up of this cream to hold back the throbbing redness. No.
But if you weren't doing stand-up, Mr. Dan Evans, what would you do? What's your dream job?
Well, I say realistically, I think, you all know this, you never really had a job anyway, did you?
No.
I suppose I dabbled around with kind of architectural. I never qualified.
Did you?
I never qualified.
It's a long time, 7 years, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I got up to year 5 and then I failed.
Seriously?
I drifted into it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't committed.
Right.
And up until about 40, I think everything I ever did was all about how can I get away with doing as little as possible.
Okay.
Just that was my setting. And I wish I hadn't really had that setting now, because it hasn't really done me any favors. But so realistically, the job I would do, I think, because you get out of the workforce and that's all computerised, I wouldn't have a hope of getting back into that. I think delivery is probably what I'd do, because whenever they knock on my door, they always seem pretty upbeat round my way. A lot of them are Spanish, and they're very kind of like that. And also, they always ask me for my signature, which I kind of do the kind of autograph joke. So, it's sort of. I'm not saying I'm ordering things just in order that they come. If you want my autograph, don't spoil it. Just pretend it's an autograph.
But when you were a kid, there was no kind of dream job.
Well, I wanted to be. I suppose I would always wanted to write a sitcom or a film.
So it's in a way, still in showbiz, but maybe behind the lens.
Maybe I hate to say this, I don't want to make your thing sound very downbeat, but it just feels like since the last 10 years, there's been so much kind of high quality TV, and so I'll watch something now, and I know it's good, and I know it's really well made, but I just feel punch drunk from years of this stuff. So it's very rarely that something makes a breakthrough, like Breaking Bad or The Boys or something. Very few things now make me do anything but just kind of, it was all right. So I don't know really? The appetite now to do some kind of cop miniseries thing or anything, because I just kind of go, it's all right. So I think I probably have to stick with delivery.
That's
Not food though, because I don't want to get home smelling an onion. I think we almost take for granted sometimes that we may have really made a load of people's evenings or weekends or whatever, that we've been a part of a really cracking night out or something. And so I suppose in a way, to be involved in some long, tedious TV job, which you probably wouldn't watch yourself, is not going to compare to that. Even obviously you've got the income and all that's nice, but just the feeling of like, that was a moment and we did it and it was fun and everybody had a great time.
Who were your? Did you have comedic influences as you were growing up?
As I grow up, it's funny. I loved those Laurel and Hardy 20-minute films that were on before the news, weren't they, for a while? But I used to often almost wet myself.
For real, yeah.
Yeah. Just absolutely amazing. You know, they're just so great. You know?
I was a bit like that with the Goons. My parents were really into the Goon show
I didn't
on radio.
get to them early enough, and I would have liked to have done.
Yeah. I mean, it's only because my parents are really into it, and we used to listen on the radio. And I'm sorry, I'll read it again, and all that stuff.
So you're looking very old if you say that.
Well, it's not. But it was because they would repeats or whatever.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm not really saying you're right. I have to make all my references tremendously young to imply that.
No, I just said what you were and Tommy Cooper and people like that.
And Eric Morecambe and all that sort of thing. But it felt like a simpler time where everybody kind of watched and ingested the same thing, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then there was things like Derek and Clive, I suppose, which I suppose
a bit more naughty.
Were naughty, and so you kind of liked them for that reason. But
who would you tour with if you had to tour with somebody?
Well, that's the danger. Would they be supporting me, or would I be supporting them?
If you were kind of I suppose you were supporting them this time.
I was going to say, thanks for saying that, because I can't even take the pressure of that in this interview, of being the headline actor on a tour. I don't know, I wouldn't like it to be somebody I really liked, because I'd like to feel I could win some of the evenings and some people would be leaving going, yeah, actually I kind of prefer the first guy.
Okay. Let me rephrase that then. Who do you like? What comedian?
So negative, isn't it? Everything's
I mean, it could be an American comedian, or are there any comedians out there you think actually? I mean, I'm a massive fan of Stewart Lee, but I wouldn't support him because he wouldn't need a support first of all. But just in the kind of world we're living,
I just like those silly people, really, like sort of Harry or Tim Vine, Milton Jones, all those sort of people. I just think they're fantastic.
Right.
But so in terms of me watching, or Lee Mack or something, it's me watching somebody night after night, that would be a lot easier for me.
Yeah.
But, though I often like watching people who are just not at all, as you say, Stewart Lee, nothing like me at all, but I just find it more interesting. And I don't know, Steve, and it also, I'm worried that it's going to make me feel more of a failure because I'm not being snowed under with offers of supporting big acts. So, it wasn't one of those questions. It was keep it light. Is the note you failed to give at the beginning because we were too busy looking over the road. No, it's all over now.
I could do it now because it's all over. But that was the window. One of those. But Dan Evans. Yes, I'm going to ask you about your favourite photograph. I ask people because it's kind of about photography as well. This comedy.
Well, so, I admire you, Steve, making your way in a world where there are just so many images now, aren't there? Day after day after day after day.
True that.
And it's almost impossible to break through. So when I'm not going to say a specific photo, but I'm going to. Well, I will. I'll say a couple. I'm always trying to get off social media, but occasionally one of the things, a photo will come up, and it's just great. And it really makes you laugh. There's just one. There was a really stormy day.
Yeah.
And a couple of streets down on a low brick wall, someone had picked up some little toy dog that had been thrown out and put it on the wall like that, as though that was. And everybody was posting storm damage, like bins over and roofs taken off. And there was just this dog on a thing, and it really got to me. And there's another one which you must know, and this probably tops it in terms of universal appeal, where it's a horse that's got trapped in a fence. Not a fence, like a fence, but wire fence like this, and it's got caught, so it's half in one field, half in the other, and it's just standing there like that.
So Dan, often I do this kind of a dark room thing because
photography dark room.
Yeah, exactly, dark room. So are people, comedians or performers, whether they've had any kind of mental health or things in their life that. Is there anything that sticks out, or?
Yeah, I mean, I've been down a lot of the time, I suppose, and I kind of, once you finish it's funny you say about what's your favourite gig kind of thing, but it's a classic thing where an hour later and you're just driving home and it doesn't mean anything, does it? So that the off-licenses are still open. So that sort of thing. And I had to really run the gauntlet of off-licenses back to my house because Brighton's got about 7 that never show closed. Even on Christmas Day in the middle of the night, they will be open. So I can go off the rails a bit like that sometimes.
So yours, as in depression, alcohol, drinky-wise?
Well, they all feed into each other a bit, don't they? Really?
Right.
Because one feeds the other and you just kind of can't be bothered with stuff. And
have you? Is it clinic? It's not clinical, or you just feel?
I don't think to get too involved in what things have been
prescribed
here, there, and everywhere, can they?
but I've always known you, and that's a classic thing, isn't it? Of you being very, very funny, upbeat whenever I see you. But there is a side.
There. I mean, I think that's. I guess there probably is for most. I mean, my stage persona isn't particularly upbeat. I don't think. Not upbeat every man, anyway.
No, but there's a joyfulness to it, isn't it? It's not.
Well, it's funny you should say it because there have been a few occasions where I haven't really kept an eye on it, and you kind of go, "Oh, I've done quite a few suicide jokes in a row or something, not in a row, in a set, or things that involve me being beaten apart like a pinata or something." And you kind of go, "Actually, that just out of nowhere, somebody hasn't seen you before is quite. That's a bit much." I mean, what I do, I'm a member of a gym with loads of branches, so that's kind of how I get ahead of it.
I think I gig with you and you were just about to go. Is it Mr.
David Lloyd?
Yeah, I remember you just going. I'm just going for a swim.
Well, it really changes my mood more than anything.
Right.
Exercise. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've started doing that every day, every morning.
I think ultimately you just develop ways of coping with. So the exercise I do, and I realise that makes a huge difference. I think when you're self-employed, it can be difficult because you have to you kind of have to contrive your own routine, don't you?
True.
You need a routine, otherwise I go insane without a routine. But if I go, well, I'm going for a swim and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, it's all made up. But best not to overthink that, otherwise you just don't do it and then it doesn't work. You can create your own routine, can't you, like that? It's sort of. But yes, I don't know really, Steve, what to say. I'm sure everyone else has had more disclosure of their mental health issues.
No. Sometimes we don't go there. Sometimes we do. It's like
I should drink less. That's probably the big conclusion.
Should we keep that on?
And
then in a year's time, but
yes, that would be good if in a few days' time I've gone crazy with an outboard motor through a shopping centre or something. You go, my God, he didn't.
Would you have a drink before going on stage?
No, never. It makes it worse.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm not. Anything that makes the stage experience harder, I wouldn't do.
But some would say it'd make it easier, but it's not really. No, I don't think so.
It makes you slower and sloppier and
more drunk.
More drunk, yeah. It also signifies work is over, doesn't it? I have a drink when work is over. So if I have it before the gig, my brain's going, work is over. And I'm phoning it in even more than usual.
The love and the lies, the calm and the chaos. Adventure is waiting, dreams for the taking.